Hi, I'm Debbie and welcome to Book and BuJo, where I talk about all things books, bullet journals, and stationery. Today is my November TBRopoly. Let's see how I did in October and if I will be getting a reward or a punishment. So I did have a free reroll that I have not used yet as a reward. I did not use that in October, so I could use that in November or carry it over to December, and then in January everything will reset. All right, for roll number one, it was an even card, and that was a spoopy book, and for that I read Ghost in the Spell by Renee George, and I loved that. Okay, roll number two was an even card, and that was to read a dystopian, and for that I read Monsters Born and Made by Tanvi Burwa. Roll number three was another even card, and that was a book club book, and for that I read The Shepherd's Crown by Terry Pratchett, and that was the 41st and final book in the Discworld series, and I loved that. Roll number four was a non-reading prompt, and that was to work on a house project. Now originally I was going to work on helping my husband move some rock, but he ended up finishing that on his own, and then I was going to work on my Adirondack chair, and I haven't done that yet. I mean, there's still another few days left in the month, so there's still some time, but we'll see. And the other option was to switch out our summer and fall wardrobe. So I still have time to do that yet, but so far I have not done a house project. Roll number five was another even card, and that was to read a YA book. And for that I read Death Whispers by Tamara Rose Blodgett, and I really enjoyed this one as well. Next up, another even card, and that was a reread, and for that I did read Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, the first book in the series, and I am about 75% of the way through. Let's see. And I'm at page 386, so I have this much left, so I'm almost done with it, and I will definitely have this finished before the end of the month. For roll number seven, I landed on classic, and I read The Professor by Charlotte Bronte. Roll number eight, I landed on Our Fantasy Bingo, and for that one I chose the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, and I did read that. Next roll was another odd card, and that was to read an indie book, and for that I am currently on chapter 11 of Blood Hunter, so I am 34% of the way through, but I will have this one finished by the end of the month as well. It's a very quick and easy read. My next roll, I landed on D20, and so I rolled my D20. I got a 2, and that was to read A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and this is the first book in the series, and I did read that. Next up was another non-reading prompt, and that was to go for a hike, and my husband and I did go on our 2-mile hike around our neighborhood. Roll number 12 was yet another even card, and that was to read an adult book, and for that I read Empire of the Vampire, the first book in the series by Jay Kristoff, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. Roll number 13 was another even card, shocker, and that was to read the second book in the Fated series by Rachel Humphrey Quinn, and that book is Shifting, and I did not read that, and there's no way I'm going to finish that by the end of the month. So yeah, 2 prompts not happening. Okay, let's keep going. Roll number 14, another even card, and that was to read the next book in the Trials of Apollo series, and that was The Tyrant's Tomb, and I did read that, and I love this one, and surprisingly had zombies in it. Next prompt was, yay, an odd card, and that was to read a book with black or fire on the cover, and for that I read Gunmetal Gods by Zanil Akhtar, and this is the first book in the series, and I did read that. Then my last and final prompt was another odd card, and this was to read a book about magical creatures. And for that I read Cthulhu's Children by J.E. Murphy, and I did finish that one, and it was very interesting, not scary at all though. It was starting to get to that point where it was going to be a little creepy and scary, and then it didn't continue down that path. So in one way I'm very glad, and another way I'm kind of looking for that kind of creepy book for October, and I haven't really had one yet, so yeah, it was good though. Alright, so that was my October TBR, which means I did not pass. I failed my TBR because I haven't done the house project and I have not completed Shifting by Rachel Humphrey Daigle, and I don't think I will be finishing that. I could probably start it by the end of the month. As soon as I'm done with Blood Hunter, I could probably start that one, but I'm going to prioritize my 13 spooky reads over that, over my TBRopoly, and I still need 2 more books for that one, and Shifting is not gonna fulfill that because it's not a horror book at all. So I will probably skip Shifting and then just do 2 more spins on the spinner wheel instead. So that means I do not get a reward. And my punishment is typically to finish all of the books from my previous month's TBR before starting my next month's TBR, but I'm not going to do that either. Yeah, I'm just going to save Shifting for some other time. I'll put the prompt back in the pile and then I will save that for next year when I reshuffle and reset the board. I'm making that executive decision because I have a lot of other things that I need to focus on in November and not reading books that I'm not super excited about. So that's going to be my choice for the rest of this year, actually. If I get rewards, that's great. If I get punishments, I'm probably not going to do them unless it's a book I'm really excited about reading or I really, really need to get to. And I'm just going to catch up on everything else. So that moves us into my November TBR. So let's go ahead and see how many rolls I'm going to be doing. All right, November's TBRopoly. Let's get started. So I do not get a reward because I did not finish my TBR for October. Now we just need to figure out how many rolls I'm going to be doing, and I'm feeling very overwhelmed, and I think I need a little bit of a break this month, so I'm going to be rolling my 8-sided die. If it's anywhere from a 4 to an 8, I will keep it. If it is 3 or less, then I will roll again and either take that number or add the 2 together, depending on what they are. So let's see, how many rolls am I going to be doing? 3, which means I need to roll again and either add the 2 together. So pretty much if it's under 3, then I will add the 2 together. If it's over 4, then I will take that number. So let's try again. 8. Of course. I was really hoping for a 4, but that's all right. 8 it is. So as you can see, I had a little issue with my first roll. So then I rolled again. I ended up with 8 rolls that I will be doing for TBRopoly for November. And again, no rewards. Let's go ahead and move right into roll number 1. There are quite a few books that I would like to get onto my TBR if possible. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I'm hoping. I also have all of my book clubs, and there's a couple of readathons I would like to participate in, like Tomes and Treasures, and the final book support group, because there's a couple of series that I'm getting close to being at the end of, and I would like to wrap those up if I can. We'll see what I can do. If not, maybe I'll push some of them to December, so at least I can finish them this year. All right, so let's jump right into roll number 1. No doubles. No doubles this month. Okay, think positive thoughts. This is where I ended last month, so that's where I will begin this month. So I've got my 2 6-sided die, and let's go ahead with the first roll. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is an even card. A physical book. I have to think about that one. All right, so roll number 1, I rolled a 4 and I got an even card, which makes me a little nervous because I had so many evens last month and they gave me so many doubles. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen again. But this one was to read a physical book, and I decided to go ahead and work on my special edition goal of getting those all read. And I am choosing The Lies of Luck Lamora by Scott Lynch, the first book in the Gentleman Bastard series. And it's got these really cool sprayed edges, and it's just beautiful. It's got a ribbon bookmark. so much fun. If you want to see the unboxing of this beautiful broken binding edition, I will leave that linked up in the cards above. All right, let's go to roll number 2. Roll number 2 of 8. Oop, oh, jumped. All right, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Buzzwordathon. Awesome. All right, I landed on Buzzwordathon, and the word for November is only. So you have to have the word only in the title somewhere. And for that, I chose Only the Worthy by Morgan Rice, and this is the first book in the Way of Steel series. And I do like that cover. That's a mighty cool sword there. So I'm interested in seeing what that one's going to be about. Well, number 3. All right, roll 3 of 8. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A classic. Awesome. Roll number 3, I landed on a classic. And I just talked about this one, so I have to fit this one in because it's still somewhat spooky season, especially if I read it towards the beginning of November, but I am very excited to give this one a try, and that is Rear Window by Cornell Woolrich. I love this movie, and I'm very interested to see how much the movie is different than the book. Hopefully they're fairly close. Roll 4 of 8. Dare I say things are going well? Another 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go. So that one is a spinner wheel. I think what I will do for this one, for my spinner wheel, is I will do one last spin on my 13 Spooky Reads spinner wheel. Roll number 4, doing good so far. I landed on Go. I hardly ever land on Go, so that was kind of fun. And that was to do a spinner wheel. So here is what my spinner wheel gave me. Blood Ever After by Sean O'Connor, and this is a post-apocalyptic tale. So I guess this kind of, I mean, it was on my Spooky Reads spinner wheel, so it is continuing with the Spooky Read theme. So we'll see how this one goes. What I'm really in the mood for, though, is something like Pumpkin Man Jane that I read last year. Well, Pumpkin Man Jane, the book was focused on that character. And it's part of the Creeperslandia series by Penny Moons. And I did find Pumpkin Man 2, the origin story, so how Pumpkin Man came to be. I may have to read this one just to get that Halloween-y fix that I have not yet had with all the spooky reads I've been reading. See if I have time. I roll 5 of 8. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A D20 roll. All right, let's get my D20 out and see what it is I will get. Number 12. All right, number 12. Well, I've read that one. That was A Natural History of Dragons. So let's try again. 3. Shadow Knight's Origin by Michael Webb. I believe that is a novella. Let's hope. Roll number 5, I landed on D20. The D20 space has been liking me so far the last couple of months. I think that's 3 months in a row that I've gotten it. And this time I got a 3, which is also really weird because I got 1 the first time, and then I got 2, and then now I have 3. Very weird. But anyway, moving right down the list, that is Shadow Knight's Origin by Michael Webb. And I will put the actual cover of the book because my Kindle doesn't have it, but I am interested in this one, and I think it's fairly short. It's definitely under 200 pages, I believe. That one should be a fairly quick read. All right, roll 6 of 8. We have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that is another even card. An audiobook. Perfect. Roll number 6, I landed on an even card. the dreaded even cards, and that is to read an audiobook. And for that, I chose one of my most anticipated books of the year, as well as the final book in the Kingfall History series by David Estes, and that is Endfall. I love every book in the series. They've all gotten 5 stars so far, and I cannot wait to read the conclusion and then hopefully start Forsworn next year, which is the next book that is set in this same world. And seriously, that cover, stunning. So intriguing. The artwork for all of the covers have been great. All right, roll 7 of 8. A 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A nonfiction. Perfect, because I just had a Libby book come through of a nonfiction book I want to read. Awesome. Prompt number 7, I landed on the nonfiction space. It's kind of nice. I landed on a lot more spaces than I did cards to be drawn, which was kind of nice. And that was to read a nonfiction book. And for that, I will be reading Outlive by Peter Aeldia. I've heard some really good things about this book, and I can't wait to dig into it and read it for myself. All right, the final roll, roll 8 of 8. A 4. Oh, perfect. No doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4. 24 in 2024. Thank you all for all the positive vibes for not getting any doubles. This is amazing. Okay, 24 in 2024. Deadly Dreams. Now, the difference between the colors here, so these white ones are actually ones I didn't get to that were my 23 in 2023, and then the blue ones are my 24 in 2024. There's still a lot here. Let me go through real quick and see if I've finished some of them. So yeah, like this one, I have finished that one, so I can take that one out. I really need to get to that book. Empire of the Vampire I did read. I read Of War and Ruin. So Black Flame, The Forgetting Moon, Winter's Promise, Twist of the Blade, Gunmetal Gods I did get to. Becoming, Lightbringer, Great Expectations, The Savage Song, The House Witch, and The Atlas Paradox. And I did get through that one. Awesome. Okay, so I had not gotten to Deadly Dreams yet, but that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that I actually did read that I can take out of here. So that's amazing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 left. So that's not too bad. I'm excited about that. And then for 25 and 2025, I will do a different color so it can differentiate between the 3 years. And then my 8th and final roll, no doubles. Yay! Very excited about that. And I did land on 24 in 2024, which is also good because I need to get these finished as well. I'm not doing very good on these ones. And that was Deadly Dreams, which is the 3rd book in the Fortuna Sworn series by KJ Sutton. So it'll be interesting to see what I think of this 3rd book. The first book I liked, second book I thought it was okay. So we'll see where we go from here. It has not been one of my favorite series so far, but I am enjoying it. So I'm going to give it one more try with one more book and see what I think. And that was it. Crazy. I can't believe that's all I have for my TBR this month. I'm very excited because there's a lot of stuff I want to get to, and there's a lot of stuff I need to catch up on. So that's what I will be doing in November. But let's go over a couple of other books that I'm going to need to be reading. Let's start with book clubs. The first book club is the BuJo Buddies book club with Jashi Curran, and we will be reading The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. And I've heard some great things about that one. But also, they pick 2 books and we all vote, and whichever one wins is the one that everybody reads. But there's also a subgroup that is the Rebel book club that is still part of the BuJo Buddies book club that end up reading both books. And so I will be doing that as well, as that book is on my year-long Horror Readathon bingo for one of the prompts for the book club pick, and that is The Book of Azrael by Amber V. Nicole, and this is the first book in the Gods and Monsters series, so I'm excited to read both of those. Another reason I am very glad my TBR is short. For the Catch Up Book Club with Becca and the Books, we will be reading Malice by John Gwynne, the first book in the Faithful and the Fallen series. I've been wanting to read John Gwynne for a long time now, so I'm glad I have a reason to pick it up. For the Wheel of Time series, we are up to The Gathering Storm, which is the 12th book in the Wheel of Time series. Now for Readathons. For Year in Aeldia, Ariel needs to read a book by her favorite author, so of course I'll be reading Endfall by David Estes, the 5th and final book in the Kingfall History series. For Karasu, he needs to read a book and finish it in one sitting, and for that he will be reading Autumn Antics, and this is The Shrouded Isle, and it's by Zoe Tasha? Not sure how you say that. And it's fairly short. It's under 200 pages, so that should be doable. Yeah, it looks like it's under 150 pages, so that'll definitely be easy to do. And again, for Buzzwordathon, I'll be reading Only the Worthy, and that is by Morgan Rice. And again, the first book in the Way of Steel series. Got quite a few books with swords on the cover. That's kind of cool. Must be a theme because Liza Lockamore also has a sword on the cover here. And then Endfall, Only the Worthy, Shadow Knights I think does too on the actual cover. Got a theme of some swordplay for November. Kind of fun. Alright, first readathon for the month of November runs from November 11th to November 17th, and that is with Steph Loves, and that is the final book support group. And this one is a bingo board that she does, and there's 9 prompts on the board, and you can do whatever you want. You can just do one prompt, you can do all the prompts. This is just for you to continue and finish a series that you're working on. So the first little circle on the board is the longest series. So this one I will be reading The Gathering Storm by Robert Jordan, which is the 12th book in the Wheel of Time series. And I believe there's 15-ish books in the series. So that is currently my longest one. Now, if this had been last month, it would have been Discworld, which was a 41, and I did just finish that one. The middle prompt on the top row is share your TBR on socials, which is what I'm doing now, sharing that with you. And then the third spot on the top row is previous TBR, and for that I am adding Pale Kings by Ben Galley, which is the second book in the Emaneska series. Now, I'm not expecting for me to read all of these books just in that one week. I'm going to take the whole month of November and use these prompts for that. So I'm just stretching the time period a little bit for me. Middle row, the first spot is self-care. I will definitely be taking a nice and hot, cozy bath sometime in November, especially since it's finally getting chilly. Although today I think it's 82, so it's still a little warm, but the chilliness is coming. The middle square of the board is a final book, and for that I will be reading Endfall, which is the 5th and final book in the Kingfall History series by David Estes. And then for a graphic novel, manga, or novella, there's a couple of ways I can go with this one. I can either do Something is Killing the Children, Volume 2 by James Tinian IV, or I can read The Ice by Ryan Cahill, which is the 3rd novella in the Bound and the Broken series. I believe it's the book 3.5. And then the last row, first spot, is Continuation Station, and I will read Deadly Dreams by KJ Sutton, which is the 3rd book in the Fortuna Sworn series. The next one is a poll pick, so I will most likely go to the Discord channel for this one and pop in 3 different books that are on my TBR that I want to continue that are from series and see what comes up. And then the last one is a new release, which I most likely won't be doing. Well, actually, I kind of will. It's not a super new release. It's been out for a little bit, but it is new in 2024, and that is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst, and that is the book club book for the BuJo Buddies book club. And then the other readathon that I am participating in November is Tomes and Treasures with the Creepy Geek. And that one, we have a job board. So we've picked our character already, and now we got to figure out what our character is going to be doing. There's 20 prompts, so 4 across and 5 down. And each of the prompts comes with what the job is and what the prompt is that goes with it. So for the first one, we have a security required for traders caravan. Speak to Gerard. And the prompt is to read a book with travel. And so that one, there's quite a few different options I could go with here. And you are able to double, triple, quadruple up on books. So pick as few books as possible that will fit as many prompts as possible for this one, which is great. Just what I need. So that's a good thing. But I will most likely go with Gathering Storm by Robert Jordan, and I could also go with The Ice. I could go with Endfall. Yeah, there's a few. I'm not sure about some of them because I go into my books blind. So a lot of them I don't know what they're about until I start reading them. But going on previous Wheel of Time books, I'm pretty darn sure someone's gonna be traveling somewhere. Next prompt is Missing. The Bane family sacred sword has been lost. Please help. And this is to read a book with the weapon on the cover. And as I just talked about, almost all of my books have a weapon on the cover, so I could pretty much choose any of them. But I will probably pick Only the Worthy by Morgan Rice. Third square on the top row. Is anyone going to get that halfling fella out of the well? Read a short book. And for this one, I'm going to go with The Ice because it is a novella and it will be on the shorter side. But then again, I could choose quite a few other ones. Autumn Antics would be another good one for that prompt because it's under 150 pages. The statuette of Saint Edema is missing. If you have any information, please visit the temple. Read a book with Religion or Gods. And this one, again, there's a few I could choose, but I will most likely go with Endfall by David Estes. My chickens have escaped. Help an old farmer out. Heinrich. Read a book with an animal companion or an animal on the cover. And for this one, I'm going to go with Malice because there is a wolf on the top of the handle of the sword. That skeleton has been wandering around for days. Can someone please deal with it? Read a horror or a book that scares you, and I will be putting Blood Ever After in this spot. Bit embarrassing, but I've dropped everyone's letters. If found, please hand in to the general store. Sorry, Rickrod, the postman. Read an epistolatory book. And for this one, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to read for it. There's a few that might work. It could be like Dracula would be a great one, kind of with those journal entries, or How to Lose the Time War because it's letters written back and forth. But again, I don't really know how each of these books are written, especially the ones that I don't know anything about, don't know the synopsis or anything. But it's possible I could use The Ice. It depends on how that one's written. If it's written more from Aeson's point of view as kind of like a journal, I could use that. I'm not quite sure about Rear Window, how that one's written either, so I'm wondering about that one. But she did say that we could use the Illuminae files, and I do have that one. That one's J. Kristoff, I believe. I just got that one, so I could use that one in that spot if I need to. Dirty Delves Industries needs you. The mine is well behind quota, so if you're strong and able, lend a hand. Read a book with jewel tones or foiling on the cover. And for this one, I'm going to be reading The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch because there is foiling, and that's kind of a copper, and then we also have this emerald color on here, so it definitely fits the prompt. Wanted. Discreet individuals to assist local scientists at Bluff Point in totally mundane experiments. That sounds sketchy. Read a sci-fi book involving science. So there's a couple options I have here. One of them I could do the Illuminae files, but the other one I can read Outlive by Peter Attia, and this one is my nonfiction book, but it is categorized as a science book, and it's the science of is in the title. So I'm very excited to read that one and fit that one in for this prompt. Next prompt. Need someone to deliver a letter to the lass I'm trying to woo in the next town over. Our postie is useless. Keith. Read a book with your favorite romance trope. And I don't really have a lot of romance on my TBR for this month. But there are a couple books that have romance in them, so I may just pick that. In Only the Worthy, it sounds like our main character has a true love, so that one could work. Endfall has some romance in it as well, and I might find some in some of these others. So that's another one where I'm gonna read the book and then see if it fits. Winter is coming and I'm low on ingredients. Can someone collect the below? Forest cabbage, spriggan bark, Belch Angelica. Cheers, Healer Trish. Read a book featuring healers, fantasy or modern. And Enfall definitely fits this one because one of the characters has healing capabilities. She is able to heal others. And I'm not sure if any of the other books would fit, but that one does. Feeling artistic? The town mural is underway and we have spare paintbrushes. Ooh, that could be fun. That would be a great one to do an audiobook for and try painting along with. That might be fun. Read a graphic novel or manga. And for this one, I will be reading Something is Killing the Children, Volume 2. Because I really enjoyed the first one, so I want to continue with the series, and I have heard that the whole series is excellent. Bard Wanted. Speak to Nan at the Swift Chicken if interested. Read a book involving music or read an audiobook. And I'm not sure if any of the books that I have on here have music in them. If they do, then I will use that. If not, I will use Enfall because I have the audiobook for that. I also have the audiobook for The Ice. And I'm sure there's a few others that I will, The Gathering Storm I also will have the audiobook for. So one of those. Get your fortune told for free. Apprentice fortune teller looking for experience. Ask Vi at the Swift Chicken. So there's a lot of stuff happening at the Swift Chicken. Sounds like the place to be. Lucky Dip. A wheel, TBR jar, or number generator. And luckily, I just had to do a spinner wheel for my TBRopoly, and the result was Blood Ever After. So I will be reading that one. Got a rat problem at the brewery. Free ale if you sort them out. Carl. Clear out your shelf. Read a book from your backlist. And that one will be Deadly Dreams by KJ Sutton, because that series has been on my list for a while. Cartographer looking for someone to do field work and test out some new maps. Speak to Arno if interested. Read a book with a map. I have a lot of books with maps because it's fantasy. So Gathering Storm, Wheel of Time will have a map, and Fall has a map. The Ice will most likely have a map as well. Oh yeah, Malice will probably have a map also. Lots to choose from for that one. Local Guide Wanted. Staying at the Swift Chicken. Ask for Norwell. Again, the Swift Chicken. Gonna have to check that place out. Reread a favorite or continue a favorite series. Again, this one's easy. We have Enfall, The Ice, Gathering Storm. Some of the other ones won't work though because they're new series. So I can't use like Malice or Illuminate Files. But any of the other three will work. And they fit for most of the prompts on here, which is great. Mercs Needed. Security gig for nearby travelers camp. Inquire at the barracks. Read a book with night, stars, or the moon on the cover. And for that one, I will be reading Shadow Knights, Origin by Michael Webb. The new travel sigil is finally operational, we think. Testers wanted. That one also sounds kind of sketchy. Read a portal fantasy. Now, I'm not sure if this one actually is a portal fantasy, but it is a fantasy that goes between worlds, the human worlds and the Fae world. So I don't know if there's an actual portal involved, but there's definitely something walking through a veil or something. So I'm going to count it, and that is Autumn Antics. And that's Zoe Tansia, and that one looks so cute. I'm very excited for that one. Last prompt. The ramp is ready to install at the town hall if anyone can lend a hand this week. Read a book with disability rep, physical, mental, or hidden. And again, not quite sure on all of these, but I'm pretty sure the Ice will have mental health rep. Enfall has disability and mental health reps, and I'm pretty sure the Gathering Storm probably does as well. Something is Killing the Children, the Lies La Glamora, I'm not sure about, but some of the books I already have on here will definitely fit the bill. There are a couple other books I would like to get to. So Pale Kings, I definitely want to try and get to. I did kind of fit it into one of the Readathon prompts if I can get to it. The Will of the Many, I would also like to get to. I think that one would also fit for the Gods of Religion in a book prompt. I would like to get to The Solstice Court, but that one will probably have to go to December. Another book club book is the Game of Tomes book club with Carolyn Marie Reads, and they are going to be reading Little Women for November and December, but I have already read that and I read it recently, so I'm not going to reread that one. The other book I want to get to is Of Wings and Shadow by Kyoko M. This is the 5th and final book in the Of Cinder and Bone series, and it's a little novella, and I'm pretty sure it's just an extension of The Great Hunt from the 4th book, so you just get more detail around that particular hunt, and it still sounds very interesting, and it's a sci-fi, so that could also work in that sci-fi / science prompt for Tomes and Treasures. There's another option. I did try and find a lot of short books and series continuation books for November because I need to knock out some series. And that's all I got. All right, so I've got a couple of stand-ins until I get my books from my library for these. But for TBRopoly, we have The Lies of Locke Lamora for an even book. We have Only the Worthy on my Kindle for Buzzwordathon. We have Rear Window for a classic. Then we have, again on my Kindle, Blood Ever After for the Spinner Wheel. Also on my Kindle, we have Shadow Knight's Origin for a D20 roll. And then also on my Kindle, but also an audiobook, I have Endfall by David Estes for an audiobook. For nonfiction, we have Outlive. And for 24 in 2024, we have Deadly Dreams by KJ Sutton. Oh, and Outlive is by Peter Attia. So not too bad. I am hopeful, at least for my TBR this time. Not quite sure for some of the others, but I think for the readathons, I'm going to be doing okay as well. So hopefully I can do some catch up in November. What are you reading in November? And what readathons are you participating in? Are you doing Tomes and Treasures as well? Or are you hanging out with Steph and trying to finish up some series? I would love to find out. And if you have read any of these books, let me know down in the comments what you thought and if you think I will enjoy them or not. And again, thank you so much for joining me, and please like, comment, and subscribe if you want it, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other bookish content. And until next time, keep reading. Bye!